the gate. And they're off in the Prevagen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. From the rail, it's Air Recruit who gets the first call. My boy Prince wants to run with him. These two get acquainted, and they work a length and a half better than Stay Hot. He's an in-hand third. Unquestionable, the favorite gets a good spot early. He's fourth, well down toward the inside. Endlessly's on his outside. A gap of another 2.5 back to Fulminio, then out wide on the course in Carson's Run. Talk saves ground about 7 lengths off the speed. Then it's Agate Road. Mountain Bear is second last, and Can Group is last of the 11. All 11 well settled at this stage as they complete the opening quarter. That opening quarter went in a strong 22-1 to the backstretch. On top, Air Recruit a length and a half. My boy Prince is second. Endlessly's on the outside in third. Stay Hot has to work between horses. Down at the inside, it's Unquestionable. Well spotted here by Ryan Moore, 5 lengths behind. Then it's Talk. He races inside of Fulminio, who's in the 2-path and 7 lengths off the lead. Agate Road is down toward the inside with Carson's Run for company. Second last, Mountain Bear. Still at the back is Can Group as they leave the backstretch and move on to the far turn. 3 furlongs from home, and the leader is Air Recruit by a neck. Up on the outside, My Boy Prince is there second, looking for room. Here's the favorite, Unquestionable. The question now is he needs some place to go. There's a 1/4 mile left to go in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Trying to get off the inside, Unquestionable. He's loose for the drive now as they fan across the course. The leader is My Boy Prince, Unquestionable. Set down driving by Ryan Moore. Down the center, here comes Mountain Bear. The Euros closing good ground with Unquestionable in front. 16th to go, they can't get him. Unquestionable wins by 2 in the end. Close then for second. Mountain Bear, or a game, My Boy Prince, up for a minor share. Can Group in 133-3.
Aidan O'Brien 1-2 in the Prevagen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, as it was Unquestionable and Ryan Moore for the win. Mountain Bear, huge close to finish second.
He's not as bad as I thought. That was exactly what you would have wanted from Ryan Moore. A horse who you knew would travel well, but what you wanted was a little bit of clear sailing. You heard from our commentator that as soon as they turned into the straight and he rolled off the fence, he had that room and the horse had the turn of foot.
Yeah, this was a brilliant display, saving ground around the turn. He's got that pace set up in front of him, but he just eases out, knowing that most of these horses are going to be fanning wide, and just everything develops perfectly for him, but had himself in a perfect spot. Good horses find themselves in good spots because they're able to carve out good trips. Good trips come through good horses more times than not, and that was exactly the case with this Wooten Bassett colt. And this is a big-time win for Coolmore, not just on the track, but for their stallion Wooten Bassett. Absolutely.
They bought into Wooten Bassett a few years ago, and he is paying big dividends for them. And here is a horse who races in the colours, of course, of Al Shakab Racing. So it's quite an interesting partnership with the Coolmore Ballydoyle operation. Frankie Dettori was due to ride this horse. River Tiber came out, and Ryan Moore got on board. And if you watch the run from the starting stalls to the first bend, Ryan Moore is aggressive enough out of the gates to get that rail position, and I thought that that was key in the outcome of this juvenile turf.
Well, if you watch going down the entire backstretch, there was 3 horses sitting behind those early pace setters. Ryan Moore, Unquestionable along the rail, Endlessly, our favorite, 3 wide in that battle. They were moving together, Endlessly having to go wide, but it was Ryan Moore being so aggressive from the inside, from the get-go rather, just to get to that early position today.
I totally agree. And Ryan Moore, with that run on the rail, just had the edge. You'll see him over to the left, Endlessly to the right. He's ended up being 3 wide. He was given a fairly aggressive ride. I thought he might be a little bit more patient on Endlessly and maybe wait to unleash his turn of foot later on. But because he had to make that move 3 wide round the bend, he was vulnerable in the straight, whereas Ryan Moore had saved a little bit of juice.
And Ryan just maintaining that position, and at this point in time, he's got to make the decision to go out, and he does, recognizing that that gap has opened versus trying to stay down to the inside and risking a hole closing up. So that key decision there pays off, and it just amazes me when you try to put yourself in those positions and recognize how quickly they have to make that decision when that window opens up.
Yeah. Perfect synergy between horse and rider, because you can't do those things unless the horse is amenable and good enough for you. And together with Ryan Moore's tactical nous, it worked perfectly.
And I think what you saw a deep stretch from this horse was just obviously relishing, loving the added distance, loving the American going, but he really lowered his body, pinned his ears, has a great way of leveling off and giving his best stride in the late stages of his races.
He's just uncomplicated. He does everything that you want through the races. All his career, bar that one run where I said there was an excuse for when he hit his head in the starting stalls, and unfortunately wasn't able to show his absolute best. But he did try in that, even though he finished 4th on that occasion. I think he's just a really honest individual. He's a lovely horse. I mean, obviously he's not top tier by Aidan O'Brien standards.
City of Troy is.
Well, City of Troy is not just top tier. It's possible he might become one of the all-time greats. There's another level behind him, the likes of, I don't know, Henry Longfellow, who's a pretty good horse. But this horse is just a really top-class, honest individual that you can only admire.
And he is now a Breeders' Cup winner. Congratulations to the connections here, Aidan O'Brien, your winning conditioner, Ryan Moore in the saddle, and cheers to the breeder as well. As you can see, quite a few involved in the breeding with this one. Bred in France and now owned and running in those silks of Al Shakab, also co-owned by Mrs. John Magner.
Cheers to the Vitses for the winning breeders here. And as we mentioned, Rishi, a colt by the Coolmore stallion Wooten Bassett, coming to the United States, wins around the world for this stallion, and big things ahead. And we'd love to see him come back, bring him back for the 3-year-old. We have a big 3-year-old series in New York and around the country.
Well, I can imagine that he will do, because if you consider the number of top-class 3-year-olds that Aidan O'Brien has in his team, you would imagine that the likes of City of Troy, Henry Longfellow, etc., they will go for the races, the classic races in Europe. And there's an opportunity for a horse like Unquestionable, who's proven his ability to travel, act on the firm turf here. Lots of options stateside for him next season.
Thrilled with the win, I'm sure. They have to be proud of Mountain Bear for that 2nd place result as well. And My Boy Prince hanging in there to be 3rd after being just off that early pace, pressing the early pace for Mark Cassidy, Joel Rosario. We do have prices in from the Prevagen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. We'll take a look at those now, as our favorite at 3-2 returns back $5 for the victory, $17.60 for the place money if you had Mountain Bear, and then My Boy Prince finishing 3rd, $3.80 for the show. Some pick 4 payouts as well. Also a pick 5 ending in this race. Do remember that we still have another race to go. A nice allowance event that very well could be a stakes race on this program, on an everyday program here at Santaanita. Looking forward to the last race today. And then the pick 6 as well. How about the pick 6 for $1, Scott? Over
$82,000 with a horse like Fierceness involved in that sequence. But we have the odds coming up for that finale. Hijazi for Zidane Racing, a $3.5 million 2-year-old purchase by Amr Zidane, who will be represented in the Breeders' Cup Classic tomorrow with Arabian Night. When he goes to the 2-year-old sales, Christina, he means business.
He leaves with what he wants. 21 minutes until race 10 here on Future Stars Friday.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention now to the winner's circle for the winner of the 2023 Prevagen Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Here's number 8, Unquestionable. Unquestionable, bred in France by Wooten Bassett on a strawberry lace by See the Star. Owned by Al Shakab Racing, this is John Magner, Michael Tabor, and others. Aidan O'Brien, the winning trainer, the winning junkie, Ryan Moore. Unquestionable completes the course in a minute 33 and 65 seconds. Favored for good reason. Here's your Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf winner. Here's Unquestionable. The winner's circle, making the trophy presentation to the winning connections. Unquestionable, representing Quincy Bioscience and Prevagen, the CEO, Mark Underwood. Santaanita Park and the Breeders' Cup congratulate the winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
All right, Amit. Yeah, the 2nd place finisher, as he was galloping out, began to favor his front a little bit in the front leg. The jockey got off as a precautionary measure,